What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of our MLB 18 The Show mini-series leading into MLB the Show 19. And today, we are going to get through the 2027 playoffs. Let's see what we got here. Harrison Mann goes 2 for 4 with a strikeout in his first playoff game with the Northwest Arkansas Naturals. And in his second playoff game, he goes 2 for 4 again with 2 RBIs in this one. So good pickups for him. A stolen base, and he was caught stealing, so 1 for 2 on stealing in that game. Game number 3, Harrison Mann goes 2 for 4 yet again with an RBI and a run scored. He hit a solo shot. Good for him. And in the final game, the closeout game, which they would win, Mann would go 1 for 4 with a run. So batting over 400 for the series and the entire postseason, because that's it. They won their AA little championship, so good for them. Now moving into the majors, the Mets and the Dodgers. Now Allen is on the Dodgers, Jacob Allen, and he's still not getting at-bats in the postseason. So no at-bats there for him. And they would turn around and lose to the Metsies. So the Mets get the win there. And we will move into the American League wildcard game, in which the Twins win it over the Tigers. Tigers have Van Haxen, but I doubt he got into a 5-0 game. However, the Minnesota Twins have Ekstrom and Justin Jones, a little Bash Brothers. 3 for 3 was Ekstrom with 2 runs scored and a walk, and Jones was 0 for 3 with an RBI, so he had a sacrifice fly. Ekstrom also had a stolen base in this game, and I was right, Haxen did not get into the game, but a 5-0 win for the Twins. Okay, we move into the actual series of the playoffs, ALDS. It's Twins and Indians. It's Ekstrom and Jones versus Carmichael. Let's see what happens here. The Indians, win 2, then lose 2. We got a game number 5, and the Indians will win it. So the Bash Brothers will go down. And let's see, Ekstrom and Jones combined in this game to go 2 for 7. Not that good. Ekstrom did pick up an RBI, however. Also grounded into a double play. Carmichael went 0 for 3 with a walk and a strikeout. Sacrifice for Carmichael. He also had a stolen base. So, everyone didn't play that great in that one. 1 for 3 for Ekstrom in this one, and 1 for 4 for Jones. So, both not playing the greatest in this series so far. Carmichael goes 4 for 5 with 3 runs scored and 4 RBIs. That is crazy. He did hit a home run in the ball game, also a double. Don't know how exactly the RBIs spread out, but he also had a stolen base. So Carmichael coming through big in game number 2 for his Indians. Game number 3, he goes 0 for 3. That's a big loss of production for the Indians. The Minnesota Twins had Ekstrom go 1 for 4. They had Jones go 1 for 5. So just a 2 for 9 from them. And Ekstrom was also caught stealing in that ball game. And they actually won it, which is funny. Carmichael goes 1 for 4 with an RBI in game 4. And it was an RBI double. He also grounded into a double play. Ekstrom went 0 for 4, and Jones went 0 for 3. So an 0 for 7 showing from the new generation Bash Brothers. But the Twins would win that game anyway. Then moving into the closeout game, 1 for 5 for Ekstrom and a 2 for 4 for Jones. So they actually played decently well. Jones bats .238 for the playoffs. Ekstrom just over 300, and Carmichael goes 1 for 4, batting .315 for the postseason so far, and his team will move on to face the Boston Red Sox, who defeated the Oakland A's, who have 2 of our players, Paris Allen III, who went 2 for 3 in Game 1, and Marley Bowman, who went 1 for 4 with an RBI in Game number 1, and that was a solo shot. Allen hit a triple in the game. Bowman grounded into a double play. Allen also had a steal. So all interesting things, but they would lose. 1 for 3 for Allen in Game 2, and an 0 for 4 for Bowman. Allen also had a stolen base, but they would lose that game as well. The game that they win 6-2 is a game in which Allen goes 1 for 5 with an RBI, and Bowman goes 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs. So 3 RBIs from those players. No home runs, but a double for Bowman. Big time stuff. And then, finally, in the game that would take the A's out of the playoffs, Allen goes 0 for 4, Bowman goes 0 for 3, so an 0 for 7 showing. Both guys batting under 300, 286 for Allen, and only a 200 for Bowman. Unfortunate, but that is why the ALCS would be the Indians taking on the Boston Red Sox. And we'll see if Carmichael and company can get it done after we take a look on the NL side, where the Cubs will defeat the Miami Marlins, and Bats would get a pinch hit opportunity, and he would strike out in it. So that takes him out there. And then in game number 2, where you at, Cameron Batts? He would not get an opportunity in game number 2. Oh, no, he would. There he is. He pinch ran. So that's quite interesting. In game number 3, Bats pinch hit, and he went 0 for 1. And then in the final game, Bats, with another pinch hit opportunity, he would get a hit and score a run. So good for him. He also stole a base in that game. But they would go down to the Chicago Cubs, and that's a little unfortunate. And then we have the San Francisco Giants up against the New York Mets. And the Giants would now have Tom Terrific, but he would not pitch in that one. And then in game number 2 against the Mets, did Terrific pitch? He did not. And then in game number 3, these are all losses, so I wouldn't expect a closer to come in at all, but we still got to check. Nope, he never got an opportunity to pitch against the Mets, and the Mets would move on. So now all we have to pay attention to is this ALCS, in which the Indians are taken out rather quickly, 4-1, but we'll see how Carmichael played. He went 0 for 4 in game number 1, bringing his average down to a 260. And then in game number 2, Carmichael went 1 for 5 with an RBI and a walk, giving him a 250 average. In game number 3, he goes 1 for 5 with a strikeout, giving him a 242 now. He had a double in the game, and he grounded into a double play. Then in game number 4, he goes 1 for 4 with a strikeout, getting his average at 243. He had an error in the field, and he was caught stealing, so a lot of negatives for him in that one. And then he went 1 for 5 in the closeout game, totaling his postseason average to 238. Okay. Now we'll take a look at some awards. I believe that this is for the following year. No, it's 2027. And Adam Carmichael is going to win a Gold Glove out in left field. There you go. See what else we have going on. A lot of name players here on teams you wouldn't expect them to be on. Tom Terrific wins Reliever of the Year with the San Francisco Giants, but he never got an opportunity to pitch in the playoffs. Sad. Colin Mentor wins a Gold Glove at first base. Nice. Way to go, my guy. And QJ Kazmir gets another Silver Slugger award with 38 bombs. And the Red Sox defeat the Cubs in the World Series. Dominic Ekstrom takes a 7-year deal with the Angels, so we'll see him on the Angels next year. Colin Mentor takes a 5-year deal with the Miami Marlins, So we're going to see those two guys on new teams for 2028, in which we are looking at the awards for. And do we get anything big? Justin Jones gets himself a Silver Slugger for third base. And the National League, what do we have? Did we get anything? Did we get anything? No. Wow, okay, Silver Slugger. QJ Kazmir gets another one. 42 home runs. QJ Kazmir really bombing them. So now we move on to the postseason. And the Twins go down to the Boston Red Sox. And that is the Jones and Ekstrom group. Ekstrom not playing that game. Ekstrom went to the Angels. So Jones is on the team. He got a sacrifice in that one. So left the other Bash brother leaves him behind, and he's not the same without him. So now the Pittsburgh Pirates in against the Mets. And they're going to go down in that series. Caleb Boyd pitched one game. He did not do very well in an L. I think he gave up 3 runs in 5 innings. And then we're looking at LA. There's Allen, still not getting any opportunities to bat, really, in the postseason. There's Allen again. He went 0 for 1. Guy does not hit postseason baseball. Then Allen again, 0 for 0. So no opportunity. If he ever gets a ring, he's getting like a freebie, and he already did with Kansas City. And they're 0 for 0 again. So nothing doing. Now we look at the Angels where Ekstrom signed. 1 for 2 with an RBI and 3 walks. That's a lot of walking. But good stuff for him. Then he goes 0 for 4, bringing his average down to a 166. Not too good. Then he goes 1 for 5 with an RBI in the sweep of the Baltimore Orioles, taking them to the Red Sox, which is crazy, who took down the Royals, who still have Alex Lynch Jr., and he went 1 for 3 in game number 1 with a walk and a strikeout. Givens also still with them. He pitched 2.2 innings. 2 2/3, gave up 8 runs. That is awful. Awful pitching by Givens. 0 for 3 there for Lynch. He was hit by a pitch and he had a sacrifice. All right, in a 14-2 loss, Lynch went 1 for 4 with a run scored. He was one of the 2 runs to come across the plate. And then in the closeout game, he goes 2 for 5 with 2 RBIs and a run scored. So 2 of those 8 RBIs for him. He also hit a home run in the game, so good for Lynch. He did all he could. Givens did not help on the pitching end of things for his start. Was almost an instant loss when he came out of the game. All right, Angels up against the Red Sox. Ooh, what a series. Does it go 7? No, it does not. Boston ends it early. So we'll take a look. Ekstrom went 2 for 4 with 2 ribbies. Not too bad at all. He hit a homer. So good for him. Then a 2-0 loss, and Ekstrom goes 0 for 4, bringing his postseason average down to a 210, which is not great. Then Ekstrom, a 1 for 4 showing. He did have an RBI double, so good for him, and he was hit by a pitch. Then he goes 1 for 3 with an RBI and a walk. Okay. Then he goes 0 for 3, bringing his average down to 206. And then in the closeout, he goes 2 for 4, making his final average a 242. He did have an error in the field as well, so not great help from him there. Red Sox beat the Cubs in the World Series. They are champions. And the next episode is going to be a little bit of a catch-up episode for you guys and your players. Don't forget to like the video. Subscribe if you're new. Thank you.